I sat back and I watched this crazy hysteria over this guy Jacob Mason, and I didn't make any videos about it because to me it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, it feel like I've seen this several times. There's several videos on YouTube of white guys, Asian guys talking about how they love black women, and those videos, get all kind of views, get all kind of likes, get all kind of comments. Virtually all of them from black women who having orgasms over the fact that somebody other than a black man is showing interest in them, is giving them compliments, complimenting their looks. I heard one black woman in particular say, "Oh, they finally giving us compliments," as if this something that black women just been sitting back waiting for all this time. And just give you an idea of the psychology of black women. It's very twisted, it's very insecure, and they have severely damaged self-esteem. And the apple of their eye is white men and any man that is not black. It's just a confirmation of what I've been telling y'all. I don't know how long. Black women are allied with white supremacy. They're allied with white men. They've been that way ever since slavery, ever since white men turned them into their concubines. Now, I've taken a look through several YouTube videos by white guys and Asian guys and any men who's not black on YouTube. And I've looked at their videos where they're talking about why they love black women and shit like that. And I look at their view count and their comment count and their likes, and it's way more than the comments, likes, and views that the black men get who make the same kind of videos. I don't care how the black man's delivery is. I don't care how smooth he is with his words. I don't care how handsome he might be. He is not going to be able to compete with white men. You look at Jacob Mason's Facebook page, it's just going bananas. The black women on there going bananas. One of his photos got like 46 shares. Who the fuck shares somebody's photos like that? I'm talking one photo. It had over like 3,500 comments. One photo, all black women, saying the most craziest shit to just confirm everything I've been saying. Like, it seemed like over half of the comments were about his blue eyes. I told you they have orgasms over white men's traits. They look at white men's traits as exotic. Okay, and that's why they have a higher response to white men. That straight fine hair, which black women want for themselves, which is why they spend billions of dollars to get it. And those blue eyes and fair skin, black women love that. Again, if they're going to have a biracial child, they're not going to abort it. They're going to be 10 times more excited about having that child than they would be if that child's father was black, if that was a black child. In fact, if that was a black child, there's a pretty good chance that child's going to get aborted. And I'm still wondering why these pro-black hotep Negroes are still running around here talking about ain't nothing else gonna work for them but a black woman. Y'all losing more than anybody. Y'all the dumbest, biggest fucking fools in the black community. Y'all the biggest simps. Y'all the weakest motherfuckers in the black, and the black women know it. They know it. They just use you to stroke their ego. Y'all running around calling them God. I mean, literally calling the black woman is God. Really. White boys ain't got to go that far. They can just say why I dig black women, and they're going to get 3 times more views, likes, and comments than your ass. And the comments are going to be way more intimate than they are going to be with your black ass. You see, and you calling them God, goddess, queen, and all this other bullshit. Don't that strike you as strange, seeing as how you share culture with black women, as you share history with black women, right? You share the same struggles with them. You've been with them through movements, entire movements, like the civil rights movement, right? The Black Power movement, right? You even started a movement for them, which is unprecedented in history of men, a group of men starting a movement for their women. Don't that seem kind of strange to you that they still, after all this in common you got with them, they still more responsive to white men who were responsible for the rape of their ancestors, for the whole destruction of their race as a people? The same white man that conducted all kind of tests and came up with diseases to infect the black race with, the same white man out here shooting their sons down in the street and their daughters. You would think that they would not pay any attention to a white man talking about why he loved black women. But yet and still, after all this, they're more responsive to white men. What does that tell you? They turned them into a group of concubines, sex slaves, and slave breeders. They have been sex slaves and slave breeders at the right hand of white men in this country longer than they have been free. And they were set free in that same mind state and given back to you. Black women are basically white men's leftovers. You've lost your women. There is consequences to being a conquered group of men. This is the real fucking world. It's not no fairy tale. It's not no movie. It's the real world where men and groups get conquered, enslaved, and slaughtered. You were conquered worse than any other group in recorded history. Captured, enslaved, stripped naked, beaten, killed, tortured in front of your woman. Had all your humanity degraded. Had your manhood taken from you, and you never got any of it back. To this day, you never got it back. There's consequences for that. Hundreds of years. You being less than a man. You being at the same status to the white man as children are. There are consequences to that. You may very well lose your women. And that is exactly what happened. They don't give a shit about you. If you even talk about white men in a derogatory way, black women going to eventually come check you on it and tell you to divert your energy towards something else. Think about your mothers. How'd your mother treat you in comparison to how she treated your sisters? Most of you black men was abused when you were a child and you don't even know it. You just think you had a strict mom who gave you whoopings and who yelled at you. No, you was abused. The majority of black men were abused by their mothers. Why do you think that is? Because again, you represent everything she hates. Blackness. That's why she is going to respond to these white boys and these Asian boys more than she's going to respond to your black ass. I want to apologize to David Carroll. Now, I don't care if you see this video. I wish I never brought up his name anyway, but people who follow my channel see that I removed the video I made about him, two of the videos, and one I made against going in on Tommy Sotomayor, because I got too much in common with him, as hard as that may be to believe. I find them saying things just on my mind too often, and I look back on those videos and it just seemed like I lost my composure. But David Carroll's talked about something in his private videos that he wouldn't talk about on his YouTube channel. But of course, I'm going to talk about it on mine briefly. Black women recently have been wondering, why do white men love me when I'm wearing my natural hair? Right? And David Carroll was pointing out, and I agree with him, White men have always fooled around with black women with their natural hair. When they doing that during slavery, the slave females didn't have no perm, no weave. They had natural hair. It's called exotic to them because it's so different, right? It added to the experience. And that's the same way it is today. That's why white boys like your natural hair. It's because it's different. Not only that, that's why black women with natural hair like to fool around with white boys. Because black women themselves get off on the idea of being a visual reenactment of the master slave sexual relationship. I was watching a video by Irritated Genie over 10 years ago. My mother happened to be sitting there watching it along with me. Irritated Genie was talking about Whoopi Goldberg, and how who was also natural, and her addiction to white men. And he got around to saying that she does it because it reminds her of being on that plantation. As soon as that came out of his mouth, my mother said, "Yep." So I think you get the picture. The extent to which black women's female ancestry family tree have been sexually violated is deep, extensive. They've been destroyed and extremely manipulated. You have lost them. You Hotep pro-black Negroes. Black woman is God and my queen Negroes. You're a bunch of fucking fools. Because you don't even understand black women. You of all people who are supposed to be so entrenched in history should understand them, but you don't. They've been destroyed mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's in their blood. They want to play that role of the slave. Why you think the scandal went crazy among black women? It's conscious, but primarily subconscious. A very powerful fetish and fantasy among black women. You always running around talking about they raped you. They raped black women. They raped you. Little do you know they panties get wet over that shit. That's how much they've been fucked up by their experience over here. That's how much damage has been done to your women as a result of you being a conquered group of men. Harsh reality, hard pill to swallow, but you got to deal with it. And you need to start with stop calling them God, Queen, and all this bullshit. They ain't doing nothing but making them look down on you even more. Because they know how fucked up they is. They know what go through their own minds. And they looking at you as even more weaker than ever for being on that trip and not seeing reality for what it is. Being so dumb when history right there in your face and you can figure out what's wrong with them. Stay tuned.